human design is an experience. You experiment with this information that you have, like wait to respond, or what your strategy is. You experiment that. That's kind of from the body. But you know, we're these intellectual beings, and if we can satisfy some of this up here to find out, well, why do I want to wait to respond? Who in the heck came up with that anyway? So if we can appeal a little bit enough to the intellect for the mind to relax. And so we'll attempt to do a little bit of both engage the body and give the mind something to relax with, because when it understands, it will take it in on a different level. And then the catch is to not get too intellectual with human design, because as you see, there's all these different compartments that you can learn from it. So I try to balance those two out. The intellect of wanting enough to understand so the mind can relax and go along with it, and also to start developing the body wisdom and getting you more in touch with what's going on in your body and how to rely on that for making better decisions, for making better choices, for knowing what to give your energy to. Human design tells a story about your life, and a way to look at your life and to look at what your strengths are and look at what kind of archetypes or characters or what's playing out in your life. And so when I say it tells a story about you authentically. So you may not even recognize the whole story as the story's being told to you through an analyst, because we came into this world and we began being conditioned even before we got here. You know, our parents wanted us to be a certain way. We had to behave a certain way for our school. We had to behave a certain way so we could have friends. And so we made these changes and adapted and took on society's norms at such a young age, when we didn't even know that was what happening, that we are not living authentically. Rarely are people even know who they are authentically, except through trial and error, and maybe if they've done a lot of systems or, you know, typology or psychology. But so when I say it's going to tell you a story of you authentically, is to help you connect with these parts of yourself that really want to be expressed. There's a term in human design which is called the not self and the self. And I didn't really like that term, because I felt, well, we're always ourself. Well, you know, what's the not self? So I use it as we're either expressing ourselves in a lower frequency or a higher frequency. And so when we're in the lower frequency, we're still ourself. It's just, it doesn't feel as good. It doesn't create the kind of results where it may not feel well for the people that are around us. You know, it's lower. And when we're in the higher frequency, then there's more energy and people see who we are and we get who we are. So it's like, how do we express it? How do we bring it over to the higher frequency and to not feel, you know, shame or judgment for the lower frequency, because it's just all part, you know, we're all parts of the spectrum. So what else? Human design, a tool for transformation, for self-discovery. It's a way to see who you are. It's a path of transformation. There's many different paths. There's many different teachings. And human design has a different language. And most people that come to human design see how it compares with some of these other languages that they've encountered or belief system. But you really don't have to believe it. In fact, it's better if you just try it and try to believe it first. And also, the other thing that it presents that I think is very different than any other system is it gives body-centered awareness, how to make decisions from your body. Most of us were raised that we had to logically figure things out, or, you know, put down the Ben Franklin, what are the pros and what are the cons? I mean, that's traditional way of making decisions, is figuring it out. And so those are skills that you can use to do your taxes, or maybe help somebody else, or maybe organize something, but it actually comes like, what we're talking about is, what do you want to give your energy to? What am I going to give my life force to? Especially with these manifesting generators, they've got plenty of life force to give. And without any direction, you can give it all over the place and not really have it be something that's satisfying for you. Doesn't mean it's rewarding. It's just the word to ask for generators is satisfying for me. My professional background is I went into sales and I was selling professional development, so sales training and leadership development, and so I was in sales, and that was also the industry that I worked in. So I had every type of personality type done on me to find out, where I fit, and that was the kind of business that I was in. And in 1999, I was 44 years old is when I found human design. And I'd been typed by so many different systems, but when I got typed by this system, it was just like some real bells went off in my head, because I had never considered my strategy. I'd never considered that I could rely on my body. And so it really changed my life dramatically. And I got very radical in the beginning and stopped calling everyone and just totally cleaned out my life as much as I possibly could so I could still survive financially. It's just got rid of so many relationships and things, and just waited to see what was going to come back to me, so that I knew that what was in my life was healthy for me and good for me.